Hey guys, welcome to Lou on Lost, episode 2, What Kate Does. Before we start anything, I just want to say that Jack and Kate really pissed me off this episode. Now that we got that off our chest, let's get this show started. So we start off this episode with Sayid awakening from the dead, and Jack and Hurley and Jin and all of them are surrounding him, asking him how he's feeling and what the heck is going on, and he has no idea what's going on himself. Kate's standing next to Sawyer, and Kate wants to know how he's even alive, and Sawyer goes, of course he's alive. He's an Iraqi torturer who kills kids. So we skip to a scene of where Kate now is in the cab with Claire. We know that last episode, that's where we actually left off with them. And I don't know if you guys noticed when Kate got into the cab and she put the gun to the guy's head, what she said. Dammit, I said go! Nice Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, Kate. Wait, I'm supposed to hate you, so never mind. Cab driver books it. Kate has to hop into the front. And then she finally kicks Claire out of the car, but she still has all of her stuff in the car. So now we're back at the temple, and Jack and all of them carry Sayid out outside. And Sayid wants to know who all of these people are. And Hurley explains that they're the others, and that they're trying to protect them. The others come outside, and they want to speak with Sayid inside privately. And Jack, being a hero once again, says, oh, he's not going anywhere unless you tell us some questions. And he's just trying to stir trouble. I don't blame the leader for sending the others after to beat him up real quick. And then all of a sudden Sawyer comes out and fires a shot, and he says he's walking out of there. The leader begs him to stay, and he's like, nope, sorry, see ya. And Sawyer winds up leaving. Kate tells the others that she can find Sawyer if she lets him go, and she promises to bring him back. And Jin also volunteers to go with her to help. So they bring Sayid inside while this is all going on. Jack is yelling, where are you bringing him, where are you bringing him? And then they wind up attaching Sayid to a board, and they want to know I guess they're doing some kind of tests on him. They electrocute him. They blow like that smoke that they've been putting around to keep themselves away from the smoke monster on him. And they also brand him. The English translator comes up and says, I'm sorry we had to put you through that, but we had to see, we had to put you through a test, but don't worry, you passed. As they bring Sayid in, he says to the leader, oh, I just lied to him, didn't I? And he says, yep. So now we go back to a scene of where Kate's in the cab, and as she goes to change her clothes, she opens up Claire's bag, and she sees a lot of baby stuff in there. And she kind of feels bad as she did that to her, knowing that she was pregnant and whatnot. So she goes to find Claire, says, hey, you want to ride? And I don't know how she found Claire to begin with, but she found Claire. She asks if she wants a ride. Claire doesn't want to get in the car with her. I don't blame her. Drive him to where Claire wants to give the baby to the adopted parents. Claire winds up getting at the doorstep. She rings the bell, and it's like a really upset woman. She indicates that her husband left her, and that the last thing that she wants right now is a baby. And then all of a sudden, Claire gets into labor. We know that on the island, Claire went into labor in a month of being on the island. She didn't get into labor right away when the plane crashed or anything like that. So it's weird to see that her pregnancy was a lot earlier from when during this timeline than when she was on the actual island. So now we're back at the temple, and Jack wants to ask his questions now after they just tortured Sayid. Jack runs inside to talk to the leader, and he wants to know why they did that to him. The leader and his English translator tell him that Sayid is infected. And Jack wants to know, what is he talking about, infected? He doesn't even have a fever. Jack, being all doctory. And they say, no, not like that. He's infected, and you have to give him this pill, otherwise it's going to spread to everybody else. So Jack approaches Sayid and tells him, listen, they want me to give you this pill. And Sayid is, he really doesn't know what's going on. And he says, Jack, whatever you want me to do, I'll do. And so Jack is just thinking about it. And he winds up not giving him the pill. And this is one thing why I really hate Jack. When Jack was about to take the pill, I was actually hoping for him to actually take the pill after the fact that he found out it was poison, because I just kind of want him to get it over with already. Like, Jack, you're trying to be a hero now once again. It's boring. I am tired of you trying to be this hero. Oh, so you're not going to take the pill, but let's see what happens if I take it. And, enough. Dogen, who we now know his name, the leader of the others, lets Jack know why he was going to give the poison pill to Sayid. He informs Jack that it's, like he said earlier, that it spreads to other people because it's like an infection, and that they are not the same person of who they seem to be right now. So to get back to Kate and Jin, what happens is Kate and Jin are walking along the path. They're with those two guys, and Kate winds up knocking them out, and they're going their own way. Kate wants to go find Sawyer without them, and Jin wants to know what the hell is she doing. Eventually, Kate finds Sawyer back at where Sawyer and Juliet used to live, and Kate's just trying to comfort Sawyer, but I'm really not buying it. You know, Kate claims that the reason why she was going back to the island in the first place was to find Claire, because she couldn't live with the fact that Aaron was without Claire. But I think it's a lot more than that. I think Kate is lonely. She's in love with Sawyer. I mean, while she was engaged to Jack, she was helping out Sawyer's kid. So to get back to Claire, back in the 2004 timeline, whichever you want to call it, Claire is now in the hospital. She's laying in an emergency bed, and all of a sudden, Ethan pops up. And now he's just a doctor who works at that hospital. This now shows me that during this timeline, that since there was no island, it not only affected the Losties' lives, but everybody else who's been on the island as well. Which means we'll probably see a Ben of some kind, and even a Juliet. The cops come in, and they're looking to see, they ask Claire if she's seen Kate. Claire says that, yeah, Kate dropped her off, but she left, but Kate was just hiding in the back room. Kate thanks her for that, and Kate tells Claire to, you know, she should keep the baby. And then Claire gives Kate a credit card with like a certain limit on it, and she's like, you know, just be careful out there. And like I said last episode, expect to see like, you know, like the doubles people like work. Like I said last week, John and Jack were together, and now it's Claire and Kate. It's just destined, I think, for Kate and Claire to have each other in their lives. Like I said, you know, on the island, when they brought Aaron off the island, Kate took care of Aaron for 3 years. It only makes sense that triangle works between Aaron, Kate, and Claire. I see Jin. He's going to get some water over by a lake, and he gets attacked by the two guards who were with him and Kate before. Jin starts to run for it. He gets caught in a bear trap, and they're about to actually shoot him. Aldo is about to shoot Jin. And all of a sudden, Aldo gets 2 shots in the chest, and so does the other guy, and Jin just looks up, and he sees someone with a gun, and it's Claire. My first reaction to seeing Claire is, wow, she looks a lot like Russo. And that makes sense. We know that Russo was on the island for a good 16 years setting traps just like Claire did before. We also know that Russo was a mother of Alex, and her baby got taken away from her. And then she became like this psychopath lady. And it also makes sense to me because in Season 5, when we saw younger Russo, she didn't seem to be as harmful as the older Russo seemed to be. Same thing with Claire. Claire had Aaron. I don't know if this is a type of symbolism of some kind, but Claire had Aaron. Aaron's now gone, and now Claire becomes like this psychopathic woman. Now what I think happened to Claire is kind of what just happened to Saeed. Saeed died, and smoke or something consumed Saeed. So that also means that Claire would have had to die if that's the case, which is probably the same case with Russo. Russo probably died on the island, we didn't see, and then they got consumed. Just like Claire probably got consumed. And just like Saeed's consumed, but he's in the early stages, so he hasn't gone crazy like Claire and Russo have yet. I have to say, I kind of like the whole army look with Claire. She looks pretty badass for somebody who's like very, very kind and sweet on the show the whole time, and now she's just popping caps on people. Next week's episode, episode 3, is called The Substitute. I'm not too sure what's going to happen next week, but I'm assuming that Saeed's going to get into his latest stages, and maybe he'll go crazy or whatnot, and they're either going to have to kill Saeed, or they're going to have to let him go before he infects other people. As for Claire, not too sure what's going to happen with her. I'm very excited to see next week's episode. I'm wondering if Claire even remembers any of them. I wonder if like this infection makes your memory go. We're not too sure. I mean, well, then again, Russo remembered a lot of people she knew, but we're just going to have to sit and find out. But thank you for tuning in. Come in for next week's episode. Like I said, episode 3, The Substitute, and thanks for watching. By the way, I found a really cool video comparing the two timelines. Check it out.